Welcome back to Kids Civics, the show for kids who want to make a difference in the world. I'm Cameron, and today we're going to learn about freedom of the press. This freedom is found in the First Amendment, which states, Congress shall make no law abridging freedom of the press. Did you hear a couple of words that left you scratching your head? I love big words. Do you? Abridging freedom of the press is a fancy way of saying that the government cannot stop the sharing of information in American society. Now let's backtrack for a moment. In a previous Kids Civics episode, we said that the U.S. Constitution creates a democratic republic. That means we, the people, get to make decisions about what representatives we want to make laws on our behalf. And why is freedom of the press so important for those decisions? We need reliable information to make good decisions. Once you start paying attention to politics, I promise you, it won't be long until you see some elected official doing something to embarrass him or herself. For instance, during a campaign speech in Michigan, a politician proclaims, "It's so good to be back in the Buckeye State." Or maybe a member of Congress is caught on camera picking his nose at a Yankees game. Or maybe someone gets a picture of a senator kissing a flamingo at a Florida zoo. You get the idea. Public officials frequently wish they could prevent the sharing of information that is sensitive, embarrassing, or even that is critical of them or their decisions while in office. But that information might be important to voters when deciding who to represent them in government. If you were Michigander, for instance, would you really want someone in Congress who called you a Buckeye, not a Wolverine or a Spartan? The very thought is dreadful. That's where freedom of the press comes in. No one in the government can prevent information from reaching the public. Another way of saying this is that the government cannot censor the media. So does that mean that the media can publish any information regardless if it is true or not? Just as we saw with freedom of speech, there are limits to freedom of the press. While the government cannot prevent information from reaching the public, the media can be sued for defamation if it shares information that is false and harms an individual. For instance, remember the flamingo-kissing politician? Let's say the Gator Gazette created an AI-generated photo of that incident. And it really didn't happen, but the photo was published anyway. Angry Floridian voters started messaging the politician saying what an embarrassment he is to their state. If the politician can prove that the information was false, that the Gator Gazette knew it was false, and that it made it unpopular with voters, he could sue the Gator Gazette for defamation. If the Gator Gazette cannot prove the information was true, they might be on the hook for millions of dollars in damages. So you see, the government cannot prevent media from publishing information, but if the media knowingly publishes false information about elected officials, it can be held accountable. As you see, freedom of the press is essential for citizens in a democracy to make better, more informed decisions. It allows us to consider ideas that might be different from our own, or even to convince others that we have good ideas. For instance, if your school allowed kids to vote on whether pepperoni or plain cheese pizza should be served at lunch, freedom of the press would allow kids with opinions on both sides of the debate to present their ideas to the entire student body, maybe in a student newspaper. If you're a pepperoni lover, you may find cheese lovers' arguments totally unpersuasive. But some kids who are on the fence might join one side or the other. Either way, freedom of the press creates a space for these ideas to be debated. We might not always like the ideas we hear, but we must remember that if we want space to advocate for our position, we must also give that space to others. Well, that's all for today. Until next time, be the change you wish to see in the world.